So now we've done a lot with our game. We've created some scenes. We've made the game advance to the different scenes by our level manager, and hopefully you tested that. And when testing this, it was probably best to change your player script to reflect one coin or one pickup item, and then you could test in that way. Always good to lower that number when testing so you don't have to run around and collect all of your objects. I do know a person that had about 29 objects to collect, and he was like, I have to collect everything before I can see the screen come up. So it was quite fun, but that's a good thing to do. But always remember to change it back to the number of pickup items. Very important. So now we really need to bring an enemy into the game. And you can bring whatever type of enemy into the game that you prefer to use. This is your choice. I'm just going to show you something here with one particular style of enemy. You can choose whatever you'd like. In fact, I provided you with a few different options, and one of those is, let me just bring it right over here. One of those is the Autodesk generator, and you can create your own enemies with the Autodesk generator. If you're taking the video game developer certificate, then you will have a Maya class, and in Maya you're going to have to create an account, and with your account you can use this Autodesk generator. It's really a simple thing, and you can create all kinds of different styles. In fact, you probably see one of these running around in my game here. So it's a very, very easy thing to do. You just create your character however you want. You can create this for your player or your enemy. It's up to you. Very simple thing to use. Another component is the Maximo. And as I stated, Maximo is a great thing to utilize, but Adobe did purchase them, so now it is only free for a limited time. Fortunately, I was around when it was Maximo and it was free, and I installed it. I'll never be able to update it unless I start paying for Adobe's wonderful price. My animation will have to be done elsewhere, not as easily as it used to be. But this is another thing that you could utilize to create a quote-unquote enemy. But best of all, since you have access to the Unity Assets store, you can, in fact, download something. You find, one for free. This is the particular one that I am using. I would open in Unity, and then I would install just as you do any Unity Assets package. I actually have this installed already, so I'm going to call on it in another way. So I'm going to say Assets, Import Package. I'm going to import a custom package, and then I'm going to find that particular package. So I'm preparing to unpackage this particular package, and it says, okay, here's everything. It's the same thing as when you download. Once you download an asset, it's stored on your computer, so you can call on it at any time. You just need to understand your path and where that is located at. So I'm going to import that package into my game, and while it's importing, we'll talk about some other components. So we can do this quickly. You can read about it, but this is going to come in at a certain size. And the size is going to be very, very small as compared to what I need. And what you're seeing here on these load factors, that is how quick anything loads. An LOD is exactly what it is a load. How quickly the mesh objects appear inside of the game. So let me go ahead and find my little lizard here, and we're gonna close this one, and find my lizard. So my lizard is here, and there is exactly a prefab. So one has an animator added to it, and I'm just going to show you that, and one has a different style animator added to it. So I'm going to drag my lizard out, and that's pretty doggone small. I'm just going to zoom into it here, and you can see that's a very, very small lizard to be attacking. It could make for a pretty interesting game, but I think I want to make that larger, and I'm just going to move him. Well, we'll keep him here until you can see the size. So what I do is I'm going to create the size of the lizard. I'm going to rescale him to a larger thing. And when I press play here, we're going to see this lizard move when my character moves. And the reason, oops, I'm in that one game where, So the reason this happens is that they both are controlled by a very similar controller script. And let me just go in here and show you that. And the controller script is what moves the animator. So let me show you this. This is the animator controller, and I'm just going to double click on that, and it opens this window here, the animator window. And I really want you to see this. This is one of the best things that ever happened to Unity, that you can create these animations here. Let me just hold down my middle mouse and move it around. These are actually blend trees, and then there's layers for the walks and all kinds of different stuff. And this is what's controlling that iguana, that lizard, so to speak. So I'm going to shut that now and open up the script for the iguana. I could just select the iguana and open up that particular script. So I'm going to open up this user controller script. So I double click on the user controller script, and Mono Develop will open unless you have your default set to Visual Studio. So it's up to you. But this is actually calling the same keys as my character with a slight variance of these key codes down, whether it eats or whether it dies or whether it's reborn again. I'm not going to use all that. I'm going to create my own character controller, and hopefully you would create yours. But I'm just going to create my own. So under my animation folder, which is not there yet, so I'm going to select, right click, create new folder, which is off of the recording here, and I'm going to name it animations, because there are other ways to create animations, and this is just a controller option. So I'm going to right click and create, and what I'm going to create is an animator controller, and I'm going to call this iguana. So now that I've created that first particular animator, I'm going to double click and just take this out so you can see it. I love how simple that is. So what we have here is our first entry. Entry is what happens when the character controller starts. So I need to create a state. I just right click, create state empty. So I now have a state here, and I want to rename this state. So I rename the state idle, because that's how I want my start to happen. I want the animal to idle in place, and then I have to pick a particular component for that idle state. So I'm going to select the eat, and why I do that, I don't know, but apparently that's the one I liked the best. So I'm just going to select that. I'm going to leave the speed at 1 because that is something you're going to work on, and you're gonna see how that action happens when we add some scripting to it. Now I need to create another state when the iguana is moving, when I press the move key. So in this one, I'm going to select it. See how it highlights in blue? I'm going to select it and name it walk. And I actually like the walk attack because when the walk attack is happening, the iguana does this, little crazy thing with its arm. So I'm going to go walk attack, double click that. I'm going to leave it at the 1. Let's see, now I need to make some transitions. Very, very simple to do. Transitions come in, and you just right click, make transition, drag it, and then you're gonna have to go from walk to idle, so I need to make one back down. So it's right click, make transition, and then drag and click. That's all it is. So now we've actually created this wonderful animator. So we need to make sure that it's associated with our iguana. So we're going to, once again, select the iguana, and where it has the iguana AC, we are going to attach the iguana, which we selected the little radio option, double click on our iguana. It now has that particular animator controller attached. Right now it really doesn't do anything. We'll check it out here. So unfortunately it's just gonna kind of just hang out with us. Let's see if I can make it so you can see it, because we haven't commanded it to do anything. But that, my friends, is the attack walk. Isn't that great? It's just going back and forth between the controller. We have no control over it right now. Once we script, we will.